Hey y'all, Chef IrixGuy here, and within this video I'm going to explain step by step how to make a Carolina Reaper salsa. Now Carolina Reaper is one of the most spicy peppers in the world. You should always wear gloves when you handle one, and with that being said, we're going to dive right in. Now my method for making this salsa, I think it's delicious. One of the key things, and I'll go ahead and tell everybody up front, after you make it, don't eat it immediately. Refrigerate it for at least a few hours, if not overnight, so those flavors can further blend. So there's a few things you're going to need to make this salsa. Obviously, you're going to want fresh Carolina Reaper peppers. In my case, I'm only going to use one pepper, which, why only one pepper? It sounds like a little, but it's a ton. But you may like spice more, so you may go with more. You're going to need a food processor, and you can expand this video's description and then click the link there to find all of the equipment like I'm using to make this salsa. I grew the Carolina Reaper peppers myself. So let's go ahead and get those out. They're in my freezer. So these are my fresh peppers, and I grow Reapers, I grow Cayenne, I grow Long Red Slim, and next season I'm gonna grow some ghost peppers, but these are frozen. I took them off the plant, and again, always wear gloves. I took them off the plant and fresh froze them. So this right here is a Reaper. That is a frozen Carolina Reaper, and I've actually got two frozen Long Red Slims attached to it. The stems are still on. That's how I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna take the stems off after this step. So I've got my Reaper. I've got a couple of Long Red Slims. I've got a cayenne pepper right here. Look at that. Look at that sucker. I'm going to add another cayenne pepper. And then I'm going to add a few more Long Red Slims here. I'm going to toss these suckers in there. Now, what we're going to do is put our other peppers back in the freezer, because I don't want to make this so insanely spicy that I can't even consume it. I mean, I eat extremely spicy food, but I don't want to go overboard. Now what I've got right here, I got an onion that I already chopped up, fresh onion. Depending upon how much onion you want, you may want to use a little bit less. That's about one onion right there. And then we're going to get to the other steps here in a minute. But for this, what you want to do, in my case, I'm going to boil these peppers before I slice them. So just put some water in here and bring these suckers to a boil on the stove top. Shouldn't take too long. Just gonna boil them so they're easier to slice. You may wanna add a little bit of fresh garlic while they boil to further infuse flavor. I'm gonna add, actually I'm out of garlic clove, unfortunately. I would always use that, but as a backup, I've got some garlic powder. So I'm gonna use some garlic powder just to infuse them with a little bit of flavor while they come to a boil there. So we're gonna let these boil, and then we're gonna continue with the next steps. And you noticed I did not wear gloves. You need to wear gloves, because if I touch my eyes or anything else right now, it would burn. So my peppers are boiled, and now what I'm gonna do is chop the stems off, because we don't want those in our salsa. So just take your peppers out. Fresh freezing is good. As soon as you pick them, freeze them, because you know peppers don't all come in at the same time. That way you've got a surplus of peppers in your freezer, and you can retrieve your freshly frozen peppers like I just did. Boil them like I just did to get them ready for your salsa. So we can dump this out, this water. We got that. Now we're going to take the stems off of the peppers, and as I warned you earlier, you should wear gloves, especially with this with this Carolina Reaper. Definitely should be wearing gloves. Should you do what you want to do. Whoa, whoa, ow, you can feel the skin burn, man. So now what I'm going to do, the peppers that I've taken the stems off of, I'm going to put them in my food processor right here. We're going to continue here and get the stems off of the other ones. Man, I mean, I can literally, just from slicing that Carolina Reaper, I can feel it in my eyes and my nose. And it's important, like I said, to get these stems off, because the last thing you want is to be enjoying some finely prepared salsa and have something in your mouth that shouldn't be there. Almost got this, man. Just gonna do this right. Take your time, you know. Don't rush. Don't try to race. I mean, this is finely crafted salsa. So you know you wanna take your time and have a good reward in a few hours. Like I said, you're not gonna eat it right after you prepare it. You're just gonna need to sit in the refrigerator for at least a few hours, preferably overnight. Also, the boiling, I like that because it tenderizes the peppers. I like that consistency better. So I've gotten rid of the stems. Put them over there in my garbage disposal. And now I'm going to dump the freshly sliced onion into the food processor here. Okay, so we got our onion in there. Now, depending upon your preparation, you may want to add additional ingredients, but my preparation, as I mentioned, it's going to be a little bit different. So all I've got in here is the peppers that I just boiled and the onion, about one onion that I sliced. So I'm going to take this and run it through the food processor here. Okay, so I've got it attached to the food processor. I'm going to put the top on the food processor here. And now we're ready to go. So I'm going to do chop. Just get your desired consistency. That to me looks perfect. I did a chop. I did not do a grind. I did a chop. So see, look at that. And I'll show you when we open it here. So just a good, in my opinion, an excellent consistency. Look at that. So now we're, whoa. Man, that Carolina Reaper just hit me in the nose and the throat. So now we're going to take this and put it in here. And let me show you. Look at that consistency. See, that's a chopped consistency. You can see the peppers and the onion in there. So we're going to put this back in this bowl here. Man, this is going to be spicy. You want to get all of it. Take your time. Don't let any of it go to waste. You took months to grow these peppers, bro. You don't want to waste them, man. You want to have all that spice. Millions of Scoville units. Mmm. Okay, so we got that. Now this is kind of my shortcut. And if I had fresh tomatoes, I would use those, but I just got this can of, it's diced tomatoes with lime juice and cilantro. And you can find everything like I'm using linked within this video's description. So I'm gonna put 1 can in here. Now, depending upon how much salsa you wanna make and how spicy you want it to be, you could add another can. So there it is with 1 can. You can see that's a lot of salsa, but given that I put an entire Carolina Reaper in there, I don't want it to be inedible. I don't want it to be inedible, so I'm going to add a 2nd can just to well, to make more salsa, but also tone down just the torturous spice. Because I mean, to say that this is spicy is an understatement. I mean, this spice level is, I mean, even if you love spicy stuff like I do, this spice level is just going to be unbearable for most. So I want to make it at least somewhat bearable for the masses. So I'm going to add another can of, and these are just diced tomatoes with green chili. So I'm going to add that. So I've got that in there. So now we've got a lot of tomatoey stuff. See. So this is going to be toned down. Now this next step, I would have used garlic clove, and I would have included fresh garlic clove along with the onion and the peppers. Since they were out of garlic cloves, which sounds crazy, but they were, I'm just going to use some garlic powder. So I'm going to add some garlic powder to this salsa. Depending upon how much garlic you want, would dictate how much powder you use. Also, going to use some freshly ground pepper. Never use that pepper out of a box, man. That's just stupid in my opinion. Freshly ground pepper. Then we use some fresh sea salt, not that other kind of salt. This is sea salt. Put a little bit of salt in there for taste. Don't want to make it too salty. And now what we're going to do, and this is a step that a lot of people may not do, but we're going to blend these flavors here. So not over a high heat, but a medium to low heat. We're going to stir all this good stuff together because we want these flavors to blend. And you know, obviously the tomatoes, the Carolina Reaper, the Long Red Slim, the cayenne, and then also the green chilies that were present within these cans that I added to it. Again, shortcut, but there's nothing wrong with that shortcut. I mean, you're still going to have an exceptional salsa. And just like the disappointment that they were out of fresh garlic clove, well, that's not going to make me stop. I mean, I've got garlic powder. I'm still going to get that garlic flavor profile. Something you could also do if you have an olive oil, you could add a little bit of olive oil to it. And this is garlic infused olive oil. So I'm going to add just a little bit of that into the salsa. Completely optional. You don't have to do that. We're just going to stir this because we want to blend everything, not just for the blending of flavors, but the consistency of the bite. Because when you scoop into this salsa with a tortilla, and your eyes are probably already burning because you got the bowl of salsa close to your face, when you take that bite, you want to get a good blend of pepper, garlic, onion, tomato, cilantro. This has cilantro in it. You know, alternatively, if you wanted to, you could use fresh cilantro. But my objective with this is just to make a very simple approach for creating just a hellish spice level in salsa. I mean, this is so far beyond what one would find in a even a gourmet like sauce store. I mean, this is taking the flavor profile and just the torturous spice level to the next level. So I mean, this is a different animal, but I do like to blend these flavors like this. I'm just going to bring it to a quick boil, and then after it boils, I'm going to cover and simmer for, I don't know, 15 minutes or so. You don't want to dry it out. You don't want to dry your salsa out, but I do want to blend those flavors. So this is a step that, you know, may require a little bit of practice on your behalf. And then also tweaking the spice level. I mean, you saw I put an entire Carolina Reaper pepper in here. So I mean, this may be too intense for you, and that's fine if it is. And you may say, oh, you know, what did I say? This is a hellish and torturous level of spice. You may follow my steps to the T, and you may laugh at me and be like, man, you can't handle spice, and that's fine. Because everybody has different, have their own spice tolerance. So for me, I may make chicken wings and make them so spicy that you can't even sit at the table with me because they're so spicy. The spice from the wings is getting into your nose and your throat. And there may be somebody else that just kind of laughs and they're like, you know, these don't have a spice to them at all. Everybody's tolerance to spice is different. So find your personal spice level. And then what I would recommend you do when you make your salsa is document the quantity of each ingredient. So the reason I say that is that you may find, oh, well, an entire Carolina Reaper pepper is excessively too much, and that's fine. Or you may find that you want a little bit more garlic to it. You know, once you try that, you may be like, well, you know, the spice level was good, but I didn't have enough of the garlic flavor profile. That's fine too. And I like garlic, so that's why I'm adding some more now. I added earlier what I feel would be probably a common amount for most people, but I really like garlic, so I added a little bit more garlic powder. Like I said, if I had fresh garlic cloves, I would have used those instead, but I didn't. So I'm using garlic powder, no problem. I mean, it's still good, but I always like fresh ingredients when possible. So this hasn't come to a boil yet, but you've noticed I've continued to stir because, like most anything, if you just slap something together, I mean, it could be edible. But if you take your time and blend the flavors, and then, you know, after we finish all of this, once we get to the refrigeration step and, you know, letting it sit in that refrigerator for at least 3 or 4 hours, preferably overnight, before consuming. And I mean, this stuff, man, is I love spicy stuff, but my nose has already started running, my eyes are watering. It's wonderful. It is a wonderful experience. Torturous to many, but a reward for people that really love is spicy cuisine. So this will be good. This salsa on chips. I make burritos. I can top my burrito with this just torturous level of spice if I want to. There's so many things I can do. So it hasn't come to a boil yet. Now, like I said, we don't want to dry this out. You know, we're making salsa here. We're not making something that's dried out. So we're gonna, let's see, hasn't come to a boil yet, but keep, excuse me, the spice, man. Keep stirring because you want it to be well blended. You definitely do. I'm going to add a little bit more fresh ground pepper. Part of the fresh ground pepper, I love the flavor of freshly ground pepper, but also it adds to the finished product. It's going to add to the coloration and just the overall perceived complexity of the salsa. You know, you want something that is not, I mean, my intent here, even though I took a shortcut and used some canned tomatoes, my intent is to have a finished product that doesn't look like something out of a mainstream grocery store. I mean, this is homemade. This is craft salsa. This is not go into a store and buy it salsa. This is finely prepared salsa, just with a, like I said, a torturous spice level. So, okay, that's come to a boil. That's all we want. We're not here to cook this. Now that it's come to a boil, I'm going to cover it. And I've turned the heat the gas stove completely off, because I'm just going to let it sit there. And what you would definitely want to do, anything that you've used to prepare this, because it's so spicy, I would highly encourage you to immediately clean up, and don't leave this stuff sitting around, because I mean, it is the spice level of this for many people is just insane. I mean, it is not. This is exciting for people that love spicy stuff, but it could be pure torture for someone that doesn't like spice. So we're gonna let that sit there. I'm gonna set my timer. Let it sit there for 10 minutes. I'll stir it about 5 minutes in, and then we're gonna continue with the next step. Oh man, so I'll let this simmer for about 10 minutes. About 10 minutes. You could let it simmer longer if you want to. Oh, look at that. Oh man, it is the nose on this, man. When that steam came out, it just lit me up. So now what we're gonna do, we're gonna transfer this to my salsa container. I'm not canning this. That's a completely different animal. I'm not canning it. I'm just putting this in an airtight container so that it can then proceed to the next step, which will be, well, it's going to cool off in this airtight container for, I don't know, 15 minutes or so before I put it in the refrigerator. And these flavors will continue to blend. But so you can see there, I mean, this is just, it's not dried out. Like I said, I brought it to a boil. I let it simmer for a while, but I didn't want to dry it out. Now, one thing you want to do, and this is a step completely optional, but it'll really take this to an entirely different degree of enjoyment. This is just a fresh lime. So I'm going to squirt fresh lime juice in here. I'm going to save that lime. You like to suck on your limes, man. And then the other half of the lime. Lime and salsa go hand in hand. So fresh lime juice like this really amplifies the overall enjoyment of the finished product. And then just stir in the fresh lime. And you can kind of get an idea of the consistency. Some people may want more onion. Some people may want more peppers. I mean, it's, you do what you want to do as far as the quantity of each ingredient that's in the salsa. But the main thing is that you take your time, as demonstrated here. Now, I think I've got that lime juice evenly distributed. So while this is still warm, I'm going to cover it. And by the way, you can find the containers like I use. Expand this video's description and then click the link there. These are great containers. Like I said, I'm not putting this in a jar. I'm not canning the salsa. I'm just putting this in an airtight container that once it cools down for, I don't know, 15 minutes or so, I can then put it in my refrigerator and just have it covered airtight, because you want it to be in an airtight container while it's in your refrigerator. And see, this right here, this is continuing to blend those flavors because it's still really warm. Too warm to put in my refrigerator right now. So it's gonna sit there 15 minutes or so. I'll put it in the refrigerator. Subscribe, ring that bell, check out my separate video where I eat this particular batch of salsa for the first time while on camera and provide my reaction as far as the spice level. But I can already tell you my nose has not run all day, and my nose is running now. My eyes are burning. So I mean, that's a good sign. If you like spice, man, it's gonna be some good stuff. And again, expand this video's description, click the link there. You can find all the ingredients like I used, and also this container that I used to refrigerate it in, and then also the food processor like I used. And it goes without saying, enjoy this within a few days. I'm not canning this or anything. This is meant to be enjoyed within the next few days. But wait at least 3 or 4 hours after this is in your refrigerator before tearing into it. Preferably let it sit in your refrigerator overnight to let those flavors better blend. Thanks for your viewership. Be sure to subscribe and check out all of Chef IrixGuy's videos. Y'all have a good day. Hey y'all, IrixGuy here. I hope you enjoyed this video, and please be sure to subscribe to my channel, and when you do, ring that bell icon to be notified whenever I post another video. Thanks for your viewership, and y'all have a good day.